Cheating GF is going nuts because I notified her family about affair and what she kept doing in secret, so now her future is ruined forever. Short backstory: I work for a company where I travel a lot with my stepbrother, and a few months ago I convinced my girlfriend to hop on with us. We have a long chain of command, but I am their direct boss. This job also tests pill tests. The main story: my girlfriend joined up with us and was able to complete 2 jobs, each job site being 3 months long, with us. I noticed something off with her halfway through the first job. She was constantly going over to my stepbrother's hotel room to smoke tea with him. I don't do that, so she couldn't smoke with me. After the completion of the first job, I knew something was definitely going on and confronted her about it. She brushed it off as me being jealous. A few days ago she was forced to tell the truth, or her best friend would tell me. She had been cheating on me with multiple different guys at each job site, one of them being my stepbrother. The revenge: as soon as I heard this, I began seeing red. I instantly started plotting my revenge. I called up my boss and told them that my ex-girlfriend and my stepbro lied on their pill test. They were retested and failed. Both of them lost their jobs. Next, I left an anonymous tip to the police about their less than legal habits. Lone Star states carry a heavy penalty/fine for this stuff. They just had the tip in their records. Her vehicle had her home state license plates, which made it very easy to look out for. I think in the end it was her own stupid mistake. Our job site right now is in Texas, on the outskirts of Dallas, and there is a heavy police presence here. She usually drives around while taking hits out of a piece. She doesn't do self-made ones, which makes it very obvious. With Dallas too, pill paraphernalia carries a heavier charge than the actual tea itself, and believe me when I tell you she had an abundance of pipes, pieces, and other things for smoking in her car. She and stepbro got busted and charged with a misdemeanor. Now for the finale. I informed her family of her actions and they completely shut her out. They liked me more. Now they are both thousands of miles from home, with no job, no money. She can't afford the payments on her brand new car, a criminal charge, and she has nowhere to go home to. My GF went to an island with her female friend and didn't expect I could check her chat history to find out what she actually does with that strange type of friend. This is a great struggle for me, sure. At this age it's inevitable for partners to have had a fair share of partners in the past. What bothers me is the fact that she's had some history with many, if not most, of her masculine friends she still frequents. I am expected to just trust her, but she's lied about seeing this particular ex, who she sees on a regular basis. Her explanation for this lie: she wanted to avoid having to deal with my outburst. When we started dating, she would mention random stuff about exes every now and then. After putting some stuff together, I figured out this friend of hers was actually an ex. I figured it out as she wouldn't mention this explicitly. We were dating for a couple of months, and during curfew period due to the pandemic, she decided to go away to this island with him. It's an island where cars are not welcome, making it a destination perfect for people who enjoy nature. Which of course they are. Curfew period means that hotels were open, but food had to be consumed in the rooms and everything would be closed by 20:00 o'clock. We were dating for a couple of months only, and even though I did not like the idea, I wasn't going to make a fuss about it. It was more of a sign for me that whatever relationship we had, it wasn't anything serious, so why would I bother opposing it? But I didn't like the idea at all. A couple of months after this, she decided to dump me. According to her, because I wasn't giving the impression I was interested in a proper future with anyone, and she actually was. I told her to do as she pleases, and we could happily move on with our lives. A couple of days later she sent me a text which was not intended for me. I wasn't able to read the whole message, preview on watch display, but she was referring to finally having had a chat with the boys. Obviously I was one of the boys, and the other, as expected, was this guy. This prompted me to conclude she had dumped both me and him, i.e. she had continued being with him while being with me. I got upset and decided to ban her from my life. Not by blocking her though, I just wanted her out of my life. She insisted on trying to explain to me what had happened and assured me there was nothing of a romantic nature to their relationship. I listened to her and took it for what it was. I was ready to move on, though I did miss her because I thought she was so much fun. It took less than a month for her to come back to me. Yes, I took her back and slowly, I grew attached to her. I fell in love. She went on holiday and I was on plant watering duty. She left a full diary right on the table, so I did what I shouldn't have. I started reading it. It was clear this guy was a lot on her mind. She had sexual dreams about him. She wrote she loved him, though not in a romantic way. She wrote things she didn't like about me. She wrote about how much she was bothered by his new girlfriend. I also found a letter she had written to him. I found it when she asked me to go through her stuff in order to find some documents for her. It was a letter I don't think she ever actually sent to him, but it was clear she was very fond of him, and how he taught her to be intimate lovingly. It was kind of a goodbye letter. She still sees him on a regular basis. Yesterday I found out he had been at her place on Friday night. I was at her place and in the fridge she had a package of meat which was half empty. She's a vegetarian, so I asked why she had meat in her fridge. Because it was for somebody else. X's name was here yesterday. It made me furious to find out she had not mentioned this to me. She knows I don't like her hanging out with exes, especially this one, but we had agreed that she would tell me up front if she was going to see him, that she would be open and honest about it, and not seeing him behind my back. I have a really hard time believing she forgot to mention it. Sure, she could have wanted to avoid another bad moment with me, but at this point I can't help but thinking that there is way more going on. She doesn't know I read all this stuff, and even though it was a crappy thing to do, I'd rather know when someone is trying to fool me. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. Dude. Have some self-respect here. She's shown you like 50 times now that she doesn't give a duck about you and your relationship. You're just letting her walk all over you, make you feel miserable, and for what? She's just gonna leave you when the next best guy comes along. Or she won't leave you, she'll just date both of you so she can keep her permanent backup plan. OP reply. I have been straight to the point about it as well. She insists on not having a backup plan with this guy or anyone, and that she chose me. But then she conveniently forgets to mention she would see him, knowing that the least I expect is for her to let me know beforehand as to prevent it being a secret. Comment 2. Either you or the other guy is being kept as backup. Neither situation is favorable because it shows she isn't taking your relationship seriously. I'm saying this as someone who did this a lot in my early 20s. This will not end well if you let it continue the way it's going. Just end it. She has some growing up to do. My now ex-wife is mad I went complete no contact after she did it with 2 men, and now I caught her using my Plex server with AP for fun. My ex and I were together for 6 years. Around 5 of that were happy, but shortly before COVID multiple problems began to occur. She hurt her back, lost her job, due to being unable to perform it with injury, wrecked her car. I tried to support her emotionally, and did support her financially. We both used tea occasionally prior to this, but she got to the point after her injury where anytime she was unhappy to the smallest degree she would vape and take her pain meds for her back. I tried to talk to her about it, she would say I was right, but never stop/cut back. Over the course of the year she became more and more closed off. In February I started suspecting something was up after overhearing a chat where she had gone to another room on the other side of the house to take a call. I asked her about it, but she said she was offended I'd even think she would cheat. I came to find over the next few weeks she was cheating with 2 different men and planned on a third. The third was planned after I found out about the first 2, and after we had agreed to work on our relationship. When we had agreed to work on things I cried and couldn't sleep the first week. She told me this was misusage because I was keeping her up. Things still hadn't felt right and I snooped on her phone. I normally never did this, but I had become a paranoid mess. I found a conversation initiated by her to a man where she asked him if he wanted to have sex. He said, "Aren't you?" with what's on his face, and she said it never stopped me before, winky face. I kicked her out, but over the next couple of months we attempted, unintentionally at first, to reconcile. We got together once or twice a week and talked. However, one day I told her she was beautiful, and she said she knew, because she had 1,400 likes on Tinder, throwing it in my face. I told her I'm not one of 1,400 guys just looking for sex. I'm someone who's told you that daily for 6 years, and if you can't understand the difference, that's on you. I end up giving her a final date to have all her stuff out. The final date is the 3-month point of Maine kicking her out. Honestly, I think I gave her so many chances not just because I wanted to be with her, but because I needed it to be a mistake. I needed to know she cared about my pain, and needed the damage minimized. Not realizing at the time that it wasn't possible. I'm on month 6 now. While I still think about her, more often than I'd like, my biggest issue isn't in thinking about her, but in rather how I treat other people. I've realized I've lost trust/faith in people, not just romantically, but personally as well. I hear a friend is in a relationship and is happy. I immediately assume one of them is a monster in disguise. A friend disagrees with something I say. Suddenly, instead of conversation, I feel personally attacked. How do I stop treating the people who didn't hurt me, the people who have been here for me, as if they are the ones I can't trust? How do I look at women and not treat them as if they're my ex? They did nothing to deserve my prejudice, and I feel guilty for judging them. How do I fix myself and take ownership of my new faults, so I can fix them? I'm nowhere near ready to date. The thought of being with another person disgusts me right now. However, I've thought about going on dating apps and saying I don't want anything romantic, but to spend time with someone else who needs to heal. Then I think, well, no one would say yes, and even if they did, I've just made myself a target for those looking to use me. Update. I was done getting led on, and lied to by my ex, done being a second choice, done being a backup plan, done watching out for her when she doesn't watch out for me. Today she did something that was the final straw, and I messaged her letting her know it was insulting. Shortly after, I let her know she's been blocked on all platforms, and to not attempt to contact me. I also let her know that if she attempts to have mutual friends or family contact me on her behalf, that they will be blocked too. I am done. I am better than this, I deserve far more. I will not put up with it any longer. She got 6 months for 6 years of love, and that was far too much. I won't lie, it was hard, but I won't accept this any longer. I deserve to be put first. It's been a hard 2 weeks since I went NC with my ex. After 3 months of a mix of trying to work things out followed by 3 months of acceptance, I realized she didn't care for me as a person. It's what everyone else's experiences have been like at this point, but hopefully there's some light at the end of the tunnel for mine. Overall, every day has been different and yet the same. Every day I think about contacting her, and part of me wishes she'd contact me. I won't, but it's weird talking to someone every day for 6 years and then just not. I am tired, worn down, and I know I need to rebuild myself, and I have started, but it all feels so pointless. If I make myself better, I make myself a target, and if I don't, then well, I don't make myself better. It feels like I'll lose either way. Feelings towards her. I don't trust her at all. I don't believe she cares for me at all. I sometimes find myself wishing things had been different still, but also understanding the reality that they aren't and won't be. That said, I don't want anything negative to happen to her. While it isn't an excuse, I honestly think her childhood trauma ducked her up. She was ped repeatedly over a long period by her grandfather, and is a part of all this. It doesn't make it okay, but I hope one day she figures it out/works through it so that she doesn't just repeat these patterns. I can tell she's hurt herself too here, and that she has spiraled hard. I know I shouldn't care, but occasionally my mind wanders and I do think about it. That said, in the end, she put herself in this position and is on her own. Dreams. I had been having dreams the last couple months where she or other people I'm close to were lying to and trying to hurt me. However, this week those dreams changed, and when I slept I dream of her next to me in bed, her arm around me, head on my chest, and this reality all being the dream. This makes waking up hard and makes sleeping off-putting. People. Even when I'm around people, I either feel alone or I feel trapped. I find every conversation to be taxing. I feel like I don't connect with anyone. I try, and I know they're willing, but I still feel like there's a barrier. Dating. I haven't been able to bring myself to date as I really don't want to. I just don't trust other people, and I don't feel like I can even connect to friends right now, let alone anything romantic. I don't see what another person can offer me at this point that I can't offer myself. Motivation/energy. I can't find motivation. I feel locked in place. Where at the start of all this I had convinced myself to go out and take walks every day, to reach out to old friends, to listen to books, to do anything. Now I feel trapped in routine. I can't bring myself to make even small changes. I need to have music or a show on, I can't sit in silence. I can't bring myself to get a therapist, and I don't even know why, because I want to, I just can't. I literally feel trapped in my own head. Memory. My normally crappy memory is even crappier lately. I feel unable to focus on anything, and the things I do focus on I forget quickly. After 2 weeks, I find my day-to-day life easier. I don't feel the strong emotional swings I felt when I was in contact with her. I feel more rational, more logical. Every day it gets easier to stay in contact, and yet, I don't feel any stronger, I feel less able. I'm hoping this is temporary and that in a few more weeks I will feel some more meaningful progress. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. I wish you strength. Remember, it takes discipline, and it's more to help you than it is to scorn them. It took me a lot of mishaps and slip UPS, but take it one day at a time. Each time you will be able to go longer and longer. Why was your final straw if you feel like sharing? Mine was her texting me out of nowhere that she loved and cared for me, you know, the usual manipulation spiel. Then I happened to see her at a red light about 10 minutes later with the AP in her car. It's all a game to them. They are just trying to keep us on the hook. OP reply. I have a Plex server, like a personal Netflix, I've always run. I gave her access to it as a friend account after we broke up, but we're still trying to patch up under the condition that it be kept private. I knew she was on a tight budget, having to move out on her own, and I was hoping if she had shows/movies she wouldn't find herself bored and looking for entertainment. In reality, she's let me know even recently that she is still sleeping with random men she meets on Tinder nearly every night. Today I got a login from a location a ways from her home and nowhere near where her friends or relatives live. To be clear, I get notifications anytime anyone uses a new device to connect to the server. I was fairly certain she was using my server to Netflix and chill with some guy. I told her over text, I'm removing you from the server. She asked why, and I said it gives me more information about your whereabouts than I want, and told her I think you're using it to Netflix and chill, and honestly it's insulting. Her response? Can I at least finish Black Widow? Comment 2. Good work. A person can only put so much before the saturation point is reached. You apparently reached yours, and with the new information you have, you acted swiftly to cut the boil and drain out the poison. She doesn't deserve access to anything you have, and I hope you someday find someone worthy of you.